Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So, the Trump administration is chartering a plane to bring the first white Afrikaners to the United States as refugees, right? And this is happening this week. It's Sunday already, so it's a new week. So, it's happening this week. I am going to say this. Latinos, I hope you all can see why they are working so hard to send you people back home because they got planned. This is what Black people saw and tried so hard to stop you people from doing what you did, but you people got other plans for yourself. Now, I am going to say this. For Trump to come out to say that white South Africans are being treated badly. So it means it is my own South African people, like people that look like me, that are treating them badly. So when people talk about badly, I am going to ask, how are they being treated badly? That made him want to, move all of them, move them to United States, and at the same time chartering plane. This is actually your tax dollars, right? And I hope you all know that some things we provided for them and all that. Now, let me tell us something. These people do not really have your best interest at heart. Why am I saying this? They are so quick to give aid to other people, but you do not have universal basic health care. I hope that marinates. Now, the same people that have treated people that look like me so badly are the ones saying that they are not treated well in South Africa. I hope you'll be treated real good, because by the time you open your mouth to speak in the United States, they definitely will know where you're coming from. Let's get into this.
To all of the South African Afrikaans refugees that are coming to America soon, I just want to let you know, as someone whose wife is Afrikaans, who's been to South Africa multiple times, you're going to have a bad time. There's no white genocide happening in South Africa. You have crime that's happening as a result of racism-fueled generational economic inequality, the same thing that's happening in America. We're just a couple decades ahead of you on the unchecked capitalism timeline. But I have good news for you. You don't have to worry about the cheap exploited labor rising up against you anymore, because now that you're in America, you'll get to be the cheap exploited labor. If you were middle class or upper middle class in South Africa and you come to America, you're poor now. Like, really poor. You're not gonna have maids and gardeners and personal servants that you can pay $15 a day for. Now you get to be the cheap labor. But by all means, please come to America and experience the American capitalism that Elon Musk's been raving about to you. You'll probably love it. You know, what do I know? There's probably very little chance that you'll end up going back to South Africa in a year or two after realizing how overpriced and fucked up America is. I wouldn't even worry about that as a possibility. And if you think I'm being mean to these people because I think they're a bunch of racist, bigoted colonizers who wish they could go back to apartheid South Africa, it's just because I do think that. But to them, I say, welcome to the American dream. Please let me know when you've woken up from it.
We have some news right now. The Trump administration has chartered a plane to go and resettle a number of white South African residents back to the United States, making an exception for them, despite the fact that Donald Trump suspended refugee admissions into the United States earlier this year. It appears as though there is an exception if you are white and from South Africa to be able to become a refugee in the United States of America, as the State Department has paid and chartered a private plane to bring them into the United States. On January 20th, Donald Trump did sign an executive order saying that the United States, quote, lacks the ability to absorb large number of immigrants and in particular refugees into communities in a manner that does not compromise the availability of resources for Americans. But there was a big public dispute between the South African president and Donald Trump concerning land seizure laws. And well, now the Trump administration has granted an exception for these white South African residents to now become assimilated and become refugees in America. As always, spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, link to my bio, so subscribe for free and follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Okay, my MAGA faithful, where y'all at? What are y'all gonna say? Your president is opening these borders again. You see, that's the one thing. That is the one thing that I know for a fact all of you have continued to hang your hat on. With everything else going wrong, you have been able to say with confidence that he has closed up our borders and he has not been letting any new immigrants come in. Now, while that was not true, you believed it. and you have been preaching it. You've been saying that even if I don't like some of the other things going on, even if I'm not a fan of the tariffs, I like what he's doing with the border. I like that we are closing off immigration. I like the fact that we are not taking American resources and using them to give to people that are not from this country. But your president, as usual, has broken every promise he's ever made to you. He has never stood on business for one thing that he's promised you. And now it looks like our borders are opening up once again for refugees. But not any type of refugees. He is bringing Afrikaners, white Afrikaners. Not only that, he is setting up housing for these people. They are going to be able to get things like baby formula for their children. They're going to get prepaid phones. They're going to get opportunities to register for citizenship the second they get here. The American people are out here unable to pay for basic things as far as living goes. People are struggling to pay their rent. People are having a lot of issues trying to make ends meet on a day-to-day basis. There's actually a lot of people in red states right now who have been going through disasters month after month, tornadoes, hurricanes, all these types of things that have destroyed your areas. You've been begging the government for aid from FEMA. They've said no. You've been begging the government to give you any sort of aid that was already promised under the Biden administration. They've said no. And all the while they keep telling you because we don't have it. Whenever the American people need something, they don't have it. They can't find it. Wasteful spending, fraud and abuse. Even if you voted for him, they cannot find the money. But somehow they find it. Somehow they find the resources to now charter planes in hopes of bringing thousands of white Afrikaners, South African people here to this country. How do you feel about that? Are you going to keep saying promises made, promises kept? Are you going to blame Joe Biden for this? Are you going to say Joe Biden has opened up these borders and let these people flood in because he didn't? Or are you just going to cop to your usual excuse, let everything play out? You know, are you going to say this is what you voted for because you stood 10 toes down on something like this not being what you voted for? By the way, how are those grocery prices treating you? How them shelves looking? Because I've been to the grocery store. They are thinning out. But hey, whatever's going on here does not matter. You guys losing jobs, he says that's a good thing for me to see. And all while that's taking place, he is about to take the money that should be going to American people, the way that you guys say, and use it on immigrants to give them a better life here in this country. The exact thing that you guys complained about for 4 years.
I hope y'all ready for what this means. If you think the racism in this country is out of control, wait till you see what the white South Africans are gonna bring to this country. President Trump signed an executive order in February granting an exception for white South Africans to be coming here as refugees. Now, nothing's wrong with their country. They're not seeking asylum. They're not being mistreated in South Africa. They are told that they are going to treat everybody equally, and they don't want that because remember, they colonized South Africa, and now they're gonna be in your neighborhoods. Here they come, taking over your neighborhoods. They have refugee status. They're gonna seek asylum here. They're gonna get all kinds of social benefits. But that's okay as long as they're not Venezuelan. That's okay as long as they're not Mexican. It's okay as long as they're not from Cuba. But since they're white, bring them on over. We'll take them. No worries.
So the current administration is allowing 8,000 South African refugees, white South African refugees, to come into the country. They are sending private jets to pick these refugees up. Starting Monday, the first batch of refugees will be coming into the United States. My thing is that I thought that they put a pause or a halt to folks putting in application or applications for refugee status in the United States. And also, they are deporting refugees. How is it that you're deporting refugees at the same time, but you're sending private planes on taxpayers' dime to pick up these South African refugees? None of this makes sense at all.
I know every time you see my face, you're like, girl, what you got now? Sit down. I've got more news and information that you can use. The Trump administration is planning to soon receive the first group of white South African refugees it says deserve a safe haven in the U.S. because of alleged racial discrimination in post-apartheid South Africa. Government documents obtained by CBS News are actually showing the initial arrival of the South African refugees could happen as early as next week, according to the documents, which describe the effort as a, quote, stated priority for the Trump administration. Officials have planned a Monday press event at Dulles International Airport in Virginia to welcome the group, the documents show. Although sources familiar with the effort told CBS News the timing of the plan could actually change. So in February, some of you all must remember, President Trump issued an executive order directing officials to use the U.S. refugee program to resettle AFRIKAKERS, an ethnic group in South Africa made up of descendants of European colonists, mostly from the Netherlands. The president claimed that AFRIKAKERS faced government-sponsored race-based discrimination, citing a law that U.S. conservatives like South African-born Elon Musk have said allow racially motivated seizures of land owned by white South Africans. South Africa's government has strongly denied any land confiscations or racially motivated discrimination. The hastily arranged initiative to welcome AFRIKAKERS stands in stark contrast to the Trump administration's move to ban most other refugees from entering the U.S. One of Trump's first actions after returning to the White House was suspending the American Refugee Admissions Program, stranding thousands of approved refugees who had been identified as vulnerable individuals fleeing violence and persecution in Africa, Asia, and other parts of the world. For more news and information that you can use, head over to brownstoneworldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and you guessed it, get your free issue of Brownstone Living magazine. We'll see you around.
Bro, what you mean they about to have 8,000 white South Afrikaner refugees coming over here? Y'all serious? Bro, you are already the majority. Like, how much help do you need? You like that person that claims to be the star player, but literally everybody else does all the work. If you go out on a weekend, like, the place is already filled with a bunch of dudes who want to look like Morgan Wallen and a bunch of girls who probably dyed their hair blonde because they aren't a natural one. And you're telling me there's going to be more of that? Jesus Christ, man. Somebody actually explained to me how they're the beauty standard when they're literally fucking everywhere. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but rarities are usually looked at as, you know, something that's cool. Not something that you see every 5 fucking seconds. No, seriously, what in the dystopian color of friendship is this bullshit? I literally called out their stupid ass plan to go make the Great Wall of Ivory like months ago. But nobody listened. Oh no, if you're an immigrant of another color, we don't want you here, but hey, you don't have UV resistance? Bring your ass over here. Like, you have to ask a questionnaire. Oh, are you an immigrant? Yes. Is the sun super effective against you? Yes. Then come on over. This is so stupid, man.
If anyone has ever been to a nightclub or a lounge and you get there, because you was running late, you get there around 11:45, 12, so you know that's prime time hours, the line long, You know, even the VIP line, they holding people because it's like, it's packed. You got one people to come out. And you talking to security like, come on, bro. I know I'm running behind. I'm trying to get in here. But he's like, bro, it's crowded. It's crowded. Like, I can't let you in right now. You kind of understand. You're just like, all right, I can wait. I understand I came at 12. I ain't tripping. It's even, you know, you can got pretty ladies in line. You know, they always let the ladies in, even when it's packed. But even, you know, they getting held up. But then say this dude parks up in the VIP and he just gets out the car, 2 women with him, and the security just like, oh, BJ, you good, bro? Come right on in. You will feel some type of way. You be like, what happened? What? You just said it was packed. What's going on? That's the equivalent of hundreds of South Africans being allowed to come to the United States because they say they're running away from or becoming they're escaping their land being taken away from them in South Africa. After all the deportations President Donald Trump and his administration are doing, after all the work at the border, we now have some partnership with South Africa to just escort hundreds of South Africans in here, white South Africans to be specific.
It's not about race, it's not about race. Then why has the Trump administration chartered a plane specifically to go and resettle white South Africans in the United States as refugees, despite the fact that the Trump administration earlier this year suspended refugee admissions and yet are making an exception for white South Afrikaners? But it's not about race, right? It's not about race. Why are we making everything about race? It was never about race. So why are no exceptions being made for the black and brown refugees and only for the white refugees? And I say refugees very loosely because these people are not trying to escape white racism. They are escaping the repercussions as a result of years of racial oppression at their hands. Retaliation from oppression cannot be called racism. They're simply running from the repercussions of their own actions, the consequences of their actions, if you will. But if it's not about race, why are only the white South Africans being allowed to come to the United States under refugee status, despite refugee admissions being suspended by Trump himself? If it's not about race. I'll wait.
It's like the Afrikaners will arrive from South Africa next week. Now, there are already Afrikaners who live in the United States of America. And everyone wants to know, what are they running from? They're running from black folks. The white flight is a thing here in the United States of America where when there are too many black folks around, the white folks up and move, right? Well, this is an international phenomenon. I'm not quite sure why they do that, though, because they come to where other people are and then they want to shuffle. White people do this thing, and this is a cultural thing. This is a real tradition, okay, obviously, because they like to move people around. Now there's white flight because the thing they're running from is black folks. They're running from black folks. That's what they're running from. They're running from black folks, and they're coming over here to meet more black folks. People voted out their own people. So that's what happened. So the Latinos, a certain group of Latinos had enough votes to vote out their own people so that Trump could bring in some Afrikaners and claim they're, refugees. They're running from something. The way y'all need to stop falling for this racist stuff is crazy. Y'all don't have enough black friends. Y'all really don't have enough ethnic black American friends. Y'all don't. Y'all don't. And it shows.
So South Africa's own government is even coming out today and telling Trump, if you want to take on these refugees, that's on you. But just so you know, none of them have been properly vetted. A lot of them have been involved in protests that are pro-apartheid. And on top of that, these guys are actually claiming that they're being persecuted for being white. I don't know if you know a whole lot about South Africa, where Elon Musk is from, but the apartheid just ended not very long ago. If you don't know what that is, it was mass segregation. South Africa's government also came out and added that it's really hard to be a refugee of persecution when you're amongst the most highest earners and highly educated in the entire region. But in my personal opinion, this kind of gives me remnants of Operation Paperclip, what the US government did after World War II. They got a little over 1,500 German scientists and high-ranking officials from the military, Hitler's military, to come over to the United States so they could learn from them. Now, I'm no mathematician, but 2 plus 2 equals 4. What Trump's been doing here in the United States as far as deporting individuals, they've all been brown people. And now he's more than willing to bring thousands of white people claiming they've been persecuted by brown people without even fully vetting them. The answer to this simple mathematical equation is Trump wants more white people in the United States. If it ain't white, it ain't right. And that's literally Trump's mindset. You can't prove me otherwise.
So as we are now looking at the images of the 50 white South Africans that have been granted refugee status by this particular president, I can't help but wonder a couple of things. First, let's start here. Isn't it amazing how he heard the fictional struggle of persecution and racism that these people have faced, and make no mistake about it, it's a made-up story that Elon Musk put out. But he can't seem to find it in his heart for the people in Mexico, Central and South America that are trying to receive some of that same refugee status right here in the United States in search of a better life. But he understood theirs. And the other question that I have is, have you ever considered other African countries while you're looking at these people in South Africa? Have you ever considered bringing in people in Asian countries that might be looking for some sort of refugee status to come here? Or what about the Middle East? I wonder what is it different with these 50 people. What's different about them? Anyhow, I digress. And for those of you that are coming over, hey, congratulations on making it here. I will let you know that people in South Africa have already been making videos about who you all are and how y'all have been. And I hope it isn't true. I hope you don't think that you're coming over here to live in something that will, make you believe that you're above someone. Because if you talk sideways to people that look like me, I promise you that conversation and what happens after is not going to go how you think it is. You might have been better off. Anyways, also there is that other thing. You're going to come over here to a group of people that might sort of look like you, but as soon as they hear that accent is a little bit different, you're going to find out very soon that they meant every part of they don't want anyone else here. There's that last thing. When we're poor over here, or our middle class here, looks a lot different than there. It looks a lot different than there. But hey, welcome. I saw y'all with your thank you, Mr. Trump sign. So hey, congratulations. You might have played yourself in the end because we're going through some things right now. This is probably not the best time to be trying to seek some sort of status here. Not while he's in charge, the very man you were thinking. You'll find out with those shows soon, but I digress.
This is all I got from this video, and I am going to say something, and that is, how did Latinos help themselves? Like, they helped deport themselves, right? And now they are bringing in new people. Now I want to ask you people this. Do you people know why they are so serious with sending people back home? Do you know why they are so serious sending people back home? They are this serious. Why? Because they want to bring Afrikaners. Afrikaners said that they are refugees, right, in South Africa, and that they are not being treated well, according to your president. People that are not being treated well, that have their own community in South Africa that they call Oranje. So if you are not being treated well in a country, how would you have a community for yourself and you all want to talk? Okay. Now let me tell you people this. I do not even understand how you could arrive with this particular government. They are running away from Black people and they are coming also to meet Black people. Hope you all know that. They think they are this, but don't worry, not until they open their mouth Their mouth will absolutely, once they open their mouth will give them away. The people they came to see, these people that they came to see, we also tell them that sorry without the sin. In South Africa, majority of them, now should I say, white people have upper hands, right? It's a rainbow nation, I know, but they have. So if they are planning to move people, what happened to moving, giving the opportunity to the black and the white South Africans? But now they single hand. I remember, I think in January when he became the president, that he actually gave this opportunity to them that are he will be moving them and all that. He said that he heard that they are not being treated badly. So who is treating them badly? Is it my own people that is treating them badly? Because last I checked, I saw them taking away South Africans' land. Not just only taking away their lands. And at the same time, farmers. I remember seeing videos of farmers being unalive by farmers. And you want to tell me that they are treating them bad? I think the only thing South Africans, where they got it wrong, is the fact that they let them in and gave them the platform to establish, the platform to grow. I guess that is South Africans' problem. It looks like they don't even know what is going on, but I hope that they start reading and start knowing that it is not all as rosy as they think. Now, the same tax dollar, it is your tax dollar, of course, that they will use to feed them and give them allowance, like they have done for every other people, the way they support Israel, send money to Israel and some other countries. And the people that you are taking the tax dollars to feed others do not have universal basic health care. Why? Because they do not want people that look like me to also benefit from me. I just want you people to listen to all this. You see, politics, it's such a great, when I say great game, we definitely will know where I am coming from. Such a horrible game. Let me use that word. I don't want to use great and try to be politics. So as it stands, Black South Africans are the bad people. The Afrikaners are the great people. So now, next week, it's already a new week. So Americans should be ready to welcome in the latest refugees. See, Latinos, I hope you all see that you did yourself dirty, not my people. When my people speak, you better be listening. Bye for now.